Washington, D.C. is an amazing city to visit with kids. There are so many things to do and see, and the city is full of history and culture. In today's adventure, we'll share our top picks for kid-friendly activities in Washington, D.C. If you only have 48 hours in Washington, D.C., then these are the places that you need to visit. But if you have some more time, we'll share some other great places that are on our must-do list. We started our 48 hours in D.C. at one of our favorite museums, the National Museum of African American History and Culture. While you won't have to pay admission for this or any other branch of the Smithsonian Museum, you will need to reserve a free time ticket for admission. This museum is jam-packed with more than 40,000 historical artifacts. It is impossible to see it all in one visit. While it's suggested that you start your visit in the history galleries, we tend to spend most of our time in the culture and community galleries. This area concentrates on some of the most creative and uplifting moments in African American history. In these galleries, you'll find visual arts, artifacts from stage and screen, sports, and other pivotal moments in history. With so much to see and learn, it keeps us coming back. Next up, we headed out on a 3 p.m. tour with the Old Town Trolley Tours. We purchased this tour through the concierge desk at the Mandarin Oriental, our hotel for this stay. We enjoy taking the tour each time we visit. We've even taken the Monuments at Night tour, and we would recommend that one as well. This time out, we purchased a package which gave us a city tour and an Arlington National Cemetery tour. The cost for our little guy was $39 and each adult was $59. We spent a total of $216 on the tour for 3 adults and 1 child. While the tour is technically a hop-on and hop-off tour, we elected to stay on board for most of the tour, taking in the sights and the historical tidbits that the tour guide shares along the way.
During peacetime. The second group of statues on your left is Supreme Allied Commander General Eisenhower addressing the 101st Division on the eve of the D-Day invasion. Now the building on the other side of the tapestry.
The one stop we did make sure to get off for was the Lincoln Memorial. It gave us an opportunity to take in the memorial and grab a little time on this end of the mall. At the end of the tour, we were dropped off right where we began, at the Old Town Trolley Tours Welcome Center, which is conveniently located right across the street from the Ford's Theater. We popped into the visitor center here, but unfortunately arrived too late to take the tour. We rounded out our day by taking a leisurely walk across the center of the mall and back to the Mandarin Oriental. Be sure to check out our next video where we give you a tour of the hotel, our room, and our impressions of the food here. The one great thing about our Old Town Trolley tour is that we were able to split our ticket. We did the city tour on day 1 and Arlington Cemetery on day 2. To get over to Arlington the next day, we grabbed an Uber from our hotel for the ride across the Potomac. Once we arrived, we grabbed a spot on the Arlington tour bus, which is not timed. You just need to wait for the next available trolley and grab a seat. Similar to the city tour, this is a hop-on and hop-off experience. The tour guide will voice over the history of Arlington, pointing out where notable figures in history are buried.
And in the midsection, the seal of the United States Supreme Court. That is the final resting place of Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, laid to rest at Arlington in September of 2020.
We chose to hop off at the Kennedy Family Memorial. The story goes that President Kennedy visited Arlington House and looked out at the expanse of Washington, D.C. below him and said that he could stay here forever. As a result, this spot just down the hill from Arlington House was ultimately decided as his permanent resting place. His wife, the former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, was instrumental in having the eternal flame added to the memorial and is buried next to her husband. The couple's youngest children, Patrick Bouvier and Arabella Kennedy, have also been laid to rest at this site. Down the hill from this area, you will find President Kennedy's brothers, Robert and Senator Edward Kennedy. From there, we went on to see the solemn ceremony of the changing of the guards at the tomb of the unknown soldier. If you are going to visit the tomb during the ceremony, you should know that most of the viewing area is exposed to the sun and the gallery is absolutely silent. Your littles may become a little fidgety and you can move into the building right across from the tomb to get out of the sun and give them a chance to cool down.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Sergeant Leister of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army. Guard of Honor, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. In keeping with the dignity of this ceremony, it is requested that it remains silent and standing. Thank you.
As history nerds, one of the highlights of the tour for us was Arlington House. Here we had a moment to chat with the park ranger to find out more about the history of the house and the land that would go on to become Arlington Cemetery. That's all we had time for on our short visit to DC. Now, if you have more time to spend in DC, here's our list of just a few more of our must-do attractions that you might want to check out. Consider spending some time on the mall. The mall is like the town square of the area, and depending on when you visit, you might find the area set up for a festival. We like to walk from one end to the other, starting at the Capitol and walking over to the Lincoln, stopping along the way and taking in some of the other Smithsonian Museums. Visiting the Capitol is always worth the trip. To visit, it's recommended that you register to take a tour. The tour will last about an hour and includes the Rotunda, the National Statuary Hall, and the Crypt. The Capitol Visitor Center is open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and is closed on major holidays. The Museum of American History is one of our little guy's favorites. Why? Because it has all things American presidents. We love to look back at history, and this is where you can find the flag that inspired the national anthem. The National History Museum is another of our little guy's favorites, and one of ours too. The Butterfly Pavilion is always a big hit with us. We also like to take the time to visit the war memorials as a place to reflect on those who have sacrificed so much. The World War II, Vietnam, and Korean War memorials are relatively close together. The Iwo Jima Memorial is further from the others, and we've only ever visited on the bus tour. Most of these memorials are striking at night, particularly the Korean War Memorial. The next two memorials are a little further afield than those that are right on the mall, but we always like to make a point of visiting these as often as time will allow. The first up is the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. We find the Thomas Jefferson Memorial to be a bit difficult to reach, but not impossible to get to by foot. It does require a walk around the tidal basin, which is a beautiful walk all on its own. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you found this video helpful for planning your next visit to Washington, D.C. Be sure to check out our next video on the Mandarin Oriental and Washington, D.C. In the meantime, take a look at our North America playlist for other family-friendly vacation ideas. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you know when the next adventure begins. And no matter where your next adventure takes you, we hope that you enjoy the journey. Bye now.